Well, I would say first that I managed to go all the way through my master's degree and all the way through my doctoral studies without learning much at all about Adler. And then the year after I finished my doctorate, I went to a conference, and at that conference I saw that a man was going to give a demonstration. And all the way through my counseling training, I never had seen a professor do even one demonstration. And that's very sad. It's unfortunate. I know now. But so I went to this session at this convention, and the man was Rudolf Dreikurs. And he sat down with a family, and he helped this family very much, I thought. And then I was so impressed that I knew that I wanted very much to go to study with him. He actually said, if anyone wants to come to a room tonight and meet some other Adlerians, please do. And there must have been 300 people in this session. And I thought, oh, this room will be crowded tonight. I'll be lucky if I get in. But there was about 17 people. I thought, wow, doesn't everyone know this is really important? But anyway, I went to Chicago, and Dreikurs and Dr. Bernie Schulman was one of his colleagues. I was able to learn through a little bit of lecture, but a lot of demonstrations, and that's what was so valuable. Then I went back to South Carolina, where I was the associate director of the counseling center. So it was good that I was a practitioner. I was practicing there with mostly university students and some faculty. So I could put the ideas into practice, and I read, and then next summer I went back again, and I learned some more, and then I continued to read. And so that was my introduction, and amazingly, within 2 years, I made a proposal to start teaching these ideas in my state of South Carolina. And for 18 years, every summer, I would teach graduate courses in Adlerian psychology, 3 courses, two in the center of the state, and then we would go to the coast, and we would stay there for 3 weeks and teach. So that's how I became introduced, and then later I attended meetings of the North American Society of Adlerian Psychology, and was asked to be one of the officers, and finally I was the president for a couple of years. But when I was having these courses for many years, I would invite other Adlerians to come for a day or two, and they helped me teach. But I was learning too, because I got to watch them. Harold Mozak, Bob Powers, Raymond Corsini. So that was valuable. So then I guess the next big step in Adlerian psychology for me was when, about 1976, I think I was invited to be a member of the faculty of the International Adlerian Summer Institute, which goes by the initials of ICASSI or ACASSI. And we have several people from Montevideo who have been to that Summer Institute. Every year, that Summer Institute is in a different country. And as I would teach my courses, then people from other countries would invite me to come if I could possibly go to teach in their country. So I've made a lot of friends in a lot of countries, and it seems like it just seems important to me. It's a labor of love to me to do that kind of teaching. So, those are some thoughts. Well, I would say one that comes to mind is that he, on the one hand, in practice, he could seem disinterested or dispassionate, and I learned that what was meant was that he would not try to push his beliefs on the client or the patient. So that became valuable in my practice, and other Adlerians make use of it, that you take the position that, well, I think this is what you're doing, but you may continue it. It could be that you want to continue it. It's only that it seems to get you into this kind of trouble. So we don't moralize about it, try to put pressure on you. And so that was one helpful technique. But I also have read about what a good sense of humor he had, how easy it was for him to relate to people, how he really enjoyed people. And that's nice to hear about a man that you respect, especially in the field of human relations, that he himself was apparently very, very good in interacting with fellow human beings. I would say, Andres, that the most important phrase of Adler was, for me, was when I read that he said, equality is the iron logic of social living. That he understood that when we treat one another with a sense of equal respect, we are able to do business together. And he says it's the iron logic, meaning that you cannot escape it. Nobody is willing to stand below other human beings. And the more you think about it, and the more you watch, the more you see the truth of it, that it may look like someone, some wife or husband or child or employee is agreeing to stay in a position of inferiority. But I learned to look more closely, and somehow you see the disagreement, somehow openly, sometimes very secretly. But this is what leads Adlerians, I think, to be so sensitive to anything that could be called a superiority-inferiority relationship. So that if I had to pick out one phrase, I know that that is one that I build into all of my classes and all of my work.